What's shaking, folks? Back with another reaction, back with another J-drama score reaction. We're all waiting. And we're going to listen to another tune from the Kurokochi soundtrack, 2013. Again, this one is composed by two different composers. The track that we're going to hear is done by Dewa Yoshiaki. And the tune is Face to Playboy if you read it in English. If you read it in a Japanese idiom or, with the middle word as a romaji, it could mean face and Playboy, because to in Japanese means and, more or less. And so I'm going to just read it as English, but either way, I think the Playboy in question is Kurokochi, the lead character played by Nagase Tomoya, who does have a dashing and devastating face, and he uses it for comedic effect over the course of the show. But yes, I feel like this tune often plays in relation to him and his techniques, which is to say he is technically a corrupt and dirty cop, but one who engages in things under the table or outside the official guidebook of protocol because he realizes that there are other corrupt cops who've done really awful things, and the only way to get at them is to break the law yourself. It's a show that constantly asks the question of what is right, what is wrong, what is justified, what is immoral, and are there gray areas between those two ends of the spectrum? And I think the answer is pretty clearly yes. In any case, the track is in a blues style, definitely a bit of a blues rock feel to it, and as I said, I think this is typically played when Kurokochi is on screen and using his wiles and maybe his face to achieve some ends. So let's give it a listen. This is by one of the two series composers, Dewa Yoshiaki, a track called Face to Playboy, maybe Face to Playboy, and it's from the 2013 J-drama soundtrack, Kurokochi. I love it. Again, it's very much a blues tune, and it's got some charismatic eccentricities to it, meaning it's got some rhythmic hiccups, some sudden rolls and flourishes, and ultimately we hear a groove and bass, some great guitar work, both electric and I think there's maybe it's an acoustic, maybe it's just like a different rendering of an electric guitar, but definitely some nice guitar flavors, plural, in there. I think there's a bit of harmonica. It's not like a wailing harmonica, but I think there's some accompaniment or accentuations by a harmonica. And then we've got some great drum rhythms, including, by the end, that sort of cowbell drum rhythm. And yeah, as I said, I just can't help but see Kurokochi and, see, again, there's a couple funny moments. Like, there's one where his, police ID photo in the, police registrar of personnel has this really over-the-top smile. And there's a couple times when other investigators are trying to figure out what happened, and, it pops up on the screen, and everyone is like, this is so ridiculous. Like, who makes that face for an official, department photo? So yeah, when you use the word face in a track from Kurokochi, I can't help but think of Nagase Tomoya or Kurokochi's face, and he is sort of a playboy, though purposefully, meaning it's really not his main concern in the show, but he does ingratiate himself to someone who's involved in these larger dealings and, becomes her boyfriend, but it's really just to sort of figure out what happened and to get some answers. So either way, it's a top show. Shout out to all involved. If you're curious, I did a full watch along of it over on my Patreon, so if I can remember, I'll put the link in the description here. But yeah, let me know what you think of this blues tune, and Luca and I will see you next time. Peace.